Robin Hood was everywhere when I was a kid. There were the old black and white movies, more contemporary movies, a TV show, a Classics Illustrated comic book, and even an animated Disney film with cuddly animals. His popularity, though, has waned in recent years to the point where he's gone from being associated with forests to being associated with hedge funds. The mythological figure that once stole from the rich to give to the poor has been rebranded as a financial technology company. But it doesn't have to end this way. I'd love it if Civilization 7 gave this guy new life, even though I'm pretty sure it isn't going to happen, especially since current social trends are reversing the whole stealing from the rich, giving to the poor meta. But there are game related reasons why this probably won't happen either. The first is that the Civ brand has been trending towards lesser known historical figures for a few iterations now. This is not a bad thing, let's be clear. I find that playing Civ has been an occasionally educational experience, and I love history, so I don't want to reverse this trend. But at the same time, I also love folk history, and I think there's a case to be made for making room for that somewhere. This brings us to the second reason Robin Hood won't be in the game. He is too fictional, and Civ is a game that should remain at least somewhat rooted in history as it was. Still, even Civ 6 included Gilgamesh and Dido, figures of myth and legends, so maybe there's a little wiggle room here. Or maybe there could even be a scenario, or even a new game, with only fictional historical characters. Let's leave that aside though, because I want to talk about how Robin Hood might look if he were in Civ 7. Well, first of all, I think he would have to be a military type leader, probably economic because of his unique banking system. But, in terms of economic, I was also thinking diplomatic because of how he interacts with people and his methods of doing things and his approach to espionage. So I'm kind of torn about that. Militaristic for sure, maybe economic, maybe diplomatic. Uh, his main ability, my favorite by the way, is that commanders may spend plus 30 influence to create a ranged unit at their location. So, no need to create a ranged unit in a city. A commander can simply summon them for a certain amount of influence. Whether 30 or more or less is more appropriate, I don't know. But that would be kind of cool, actually, and appropriate for a guy who could get people from villages together to form small bands of merry men. The split the arrow ability would give any espionage a 100% chance of success, along with a 100% chance of discovery. That would be the downside. So, yes, he gets things done, but yes, he likes to let people know that he got things done with subterfuge. His mementos might look something like this: +3 combat in forests, duh. Plus 20% chance of opponent accepting an alliance proposal, kind of emulating the way he could push people into deals against their will. And defeated enemy units would yield +1 gold. A lot like Napoleon Revolutionary manages to get units to cop up some culture, although I don't know how that works exactly. And, +1 gold, maybe +2, I don't know what would be overpowered. As for his age unlocks, they're pretty obvious. I mean, he would unlock the Normans in the Exploration Age. After all, he, in theory, existed after the Norman conquest of England, so that would make sense. And he would unlock Great Britain in the Modern Age. So, pretty straightforward. Now, this other category is what I call spitballing because I throw these ideas out there for anybody to either modify or question or come up with new ways of looking at it. What about units that grew stronger from the opponent's discontented settlements? Maybe he would feed on unhappiness in other civs in some way. That could be interesting. Or you could have a new leader-specific quarter. So not a quarter in a city, but a quarter generated by the leader himself in whatever civilization he was part of. Um, and that quarter would generate merry men with special abilities. It's just we've got all these merry men running about that some of us know the names for. It'd be a shame to waste all of those special units with their abilities. So why not a quarter? Devote it to a leader instead. And maybe a percentage chance of creating revolt in opponents' settlements. Creating unhappiness. Is there a mechanic where Robin Hood could do something like that? Now, these I'm throwing out there. My other ideas are a little more concrete. These are more speculative. And maybe really there's no room for the speculative stuff because Robin Hood might be powered sufficiently already. So maybe that would be enough. The problem is, of course, once you open up the doors to characters like Robin Hood, you could open the doors to, I don't know, Hercules, who we saw as an additional potential unit in Civ 6, or Arthur and the Round Table, his special units. Where would it end? And so, I mean, I don't want to open that all up and, make the developers pull out their hair. But I just think that maybe Robin Hood would be a good idea on his own merits and based on the fact that he has not been a full leader in the game up to this point in the games. I think he might even be a leader for our times. Who knows? The important thing is, I think he would make for an interesting leader in this game in particular, as you can see with some of the mechanics I've kind of sketched out there. And I welcome any and all other ideas or suggestions, or I welcome all the naysayers as well. Anyway, this has been Civilized Raccoon. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please drop a like or a subscribe. Much appreciated. Hopefully see you next time.